Garrison's like, Dad, you're being a hypocrite. You're not coming around. And I about lost my man. I'm telling you, he's calling me a hypocrite when he's the one that can't be an adult and go get a place.
You know, I've tried to talk to Gabe and Garrison and Janelle, communicate with them and say, hey, please will you figure this out with Kody or your dad? And I've been shut down. I know there's a lot of accusations from the boys, you know, about me, and they're false.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, September 19th. Just finished up the first part of the episode 2 of Sister Wives. I have to split them up because honestly, there's just so much happening that it's hard to get it into one video. And honestly, some of it's just filler that's not even necessary to talk about. So we already talked about Robyn denying that she's Kody's favorite wife. And in this video, we're going to talk about the fallout between Kody and his family and how some of the kids have cut off Kody, and Kody blaming Christine and COVID for the reason why his kids don't want to have a relationship with him. What I learned in this part, it's like the back half of this episode. So we just did like the first part. Now we're going to do the back end. The middle part we've already talked about. It's really Christine's discussion with him about moving to Utah. There wasn't anything more to talk about. But when it comes to this situation, Kody is on this, in his own words, his lack of ability to take any accountability. He's blaming everyone else for choices that he's made and behaviors he's done to the family over the years.
I'm really not in a mindset of being friends. I'm married to two divorced women. I know what their opinion is of that guy. I don't want to have that happen here. I don't want her going around the country telling people that I'm a bad person.
And the kids are smart. They can't ignore what they see in front of their faces. They cannot ignore the fact that Dad is smitten with Robyn and seems to do whatever he can to be with her. He favors her kids. He spends more time with them. He has given them gifts that the kids say that they never got, time that they never had. And the kids are effectively at a point where they're cutting off their dad. And before we get into this video, can you do me a huge favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed. Turn your notifications on and set them to all so that you never miss a video and you know if I ever go live. As well as make sure to leave some comments and share this video with your friends. Let me know what your thoughts are on today's topic. And in this episode, we realize and we learn that it's basically the family is split. The 12 kids that belong to Christine and Janelle basically want nothing to do with their dad. And Robyn's kids Robyn's and Mary's kids are still on the side of Kody. And that's it. And Kody blames COVID. You can't make this up. It starts out with his argument about Garrison, and it goes into this whole other thing. But in the middle of that, we learned that Isabel is moving to North Carolina to live with Maddie and Caleb to attend community college and then go to a 4-year school. And again, Kody blames her going to North Carolina for college as running away from him because of Christine. I mean, you cannot make this up. But before she tells Kody about it, Christine lets Maddie know that Isabel got into school, and then they make it official, and Isabel is going to move to North Carolina.
Let you know that I got into Pitt, and I for sure am moving to North Carolina.
Woo! For sure, for sure. Maddie and Caleb know that Isabel wants to move in with them, but it's not like it's been 100% yet. Now that Isabel was accepted in the community college where Maddie goes to school, isn't that cute? So Caleb and Isabel really close, and Maddie, she really looks up to him. She thinks that he's an amazing dad and loves to spend time with him, with Maddie.
Super duper sweet. Maddie and Caleb are so excited for Isabel to move in with them. Apparently, Caleb and Isabel were close when they all lived in Vegas together. And Isabel like adores him, kind of like a older brother father figure. So she's excited to be able to move in with them. And Christine's just really happy because she feels like it'll be good for Isabel to have a couple that have a healthy marriage, so that Isabel can see a model of a good relationship. It's important for Christine that Isabel see that people can have functional marriages, and so she wants her to, have that experience. And so Caleb and Maddie are totally on board. And then the other sweet part was that Christine broke it to Maddie about her leaving Kody to make sure that Maddie would be okay. And Maddie was like, no matter what happens, you're still going to be my kid's grandma. And that made the world of difference to Christine. If you know anything about Christine, she is so close to Janelle's kids. So it was important that the kids knew ahead of time that she was leaving, and then allowed them to make the decision. And all of them supported her and said that they would be there with her, and their relationship wouldn't change.
When I decided that I needed to leave Kody, I knew I wanted to talk to Maddie as one of the first people, because I wanted to make sure I would still be involved in her kids' life. And she just said, you're always going to be a grandma to my kids, always, no matter what. That was like a huge relief to me.
So with everything tied up together with Maddie and Caleb, now we move on to Kody fighting with his kids about COVID. Kody believes that the reason why his family has fallen apart is because of his restrictions he's placed on his family related to COVID.
Have been taking a toll on the family relationships. The fact is, in this environment, I'm just trying to keep my children, especially my small children, from getting COVID.
The boys and the kids don't necessarily see it that way. They are looking at this more from the angle of, yes, the restrictions you've placed on our family are ridiculous, but there's been a pattern of behavior and favoritism with Robyn. So Kody brings up how Garrison contacted him and
he's like blaming me for all the COVID stuff going on in our family. This has gone too long. Garrison doesn't move out. He gets COVID. He gives it to all of Janelle's kids, Garrison's girlfriend, and Gabriel's girlfriend. So Garrison gives it to his girlfriend.
He's mad at Garrison because he wants to kick Garrison out of the house because Garrison got everyone sick with COVID, and because Garrison won't move out, and because Garrison called him a hypocrite.
And then he's mad at me that I'm not coming around, and he basically just tried to cut relationship. I love you, Dad, but this is goodbye forever. He's a grown-ass man. He can move out of the house.
Garrison's like, Dad, you're being a hypocrite. You're not coming around. And I about lost my man. I'm telling you, he's calling me a hypocrite when he's the one that can't be an adult and go get a place.
Kody's anger is like that basically someone in his family called him out. And his son said to him, like, you're never here. I'm done with this. I'm moving on with my life. And Kody's reaction is, you're a grown-ass man. Get your own place. Move out. And then blaming Garrison for getting everyone sick with COVID. By the time they got COVID, they likely got the Omicron version, which is not as serious as the previous strains. And he was vaccinated, so he wasn't as ill as other people would have, as he would have been had he not gotten the vaccine. And on top of that, I don't believe that Kody not being with his family has anything to do with COVID. I honestly think he's using it as an excuse to not see his kids. And I think his kids can see right through that because they've had years to see him treat Robyn and her kids differently than them. Robyn might get the same amount of time with them. Maybe they do get less, maybe he does go from house to house to house, but I'm sure the quality of time he spends with her family is way different than the quality of time he spends with Janelle's family or with Christine's family because he doesn't like them as much. It's sad, but he's gonna blame everyone else for his failed relationships.
Some family members are acting like it doesn't really matter. Like they're still on this narrative that COVID is fake. Let's admit it, everybody. It's real.
I have never told Kody that I think it's fake.
COVID is real. I had it. I had COVID. It's real. Garrison is military, so he's actually had the vaccinations already.
Calls me up with his narcissistic attitude and goes, this is your fault and I'm never going to be around you again.
He's telling his dad.
Kody then goes on to blame his family for not believing that COVID is real. I mean, I can't even make this up. He literally says they don't think this is real. I don't think that that was ever the situation. I think they didn't feel like it was as serious for them to take as severe of precautions as Kody was wanting them to take. No one in their family is technically immunosuppressed or dealing with medical complications that would have made it more high risk for them. So really, they were part of the population that had to social distance and wear masks, but they didn't have to be quarantined so severely because of, they themselves are relatively healthy people. It's different if you have someone in your family that's immunocompromised. We stayed home because we had to because of my son, but he has a lot going on with him, totally different than Kody's kids. Kody's kids are otherwise healthy, right? But it's easier for him to blame it on COVID than it is on his own behavior. But they never said it wasn't real.
So for my boys, there's so much more going on than just this fight. They have for a long time perceived that Kody's focus, his time, everything was spent majority at Robyn's house, even when he lived in Vegas. But they're very frustrated. They feel like there's been a real preference.
I know there's a lot of accusations from the boys, about me, and they're false. I just don't have that kind of power over Kody.
Do you ever notice that when Robyn is confronted with an accusation like Kody is favoring you, or Kody is spending more time with your kids, or Kody is doing this, or Kody is doing that, she never actually validates the feelings that those kids are having, and instead constantly says, they're lying, it's false, it's not real, it's not true, I don't have control over Kody.
And if I did, I certainly wouldn't have chosen what we have chose through COVID. I would have made us sit down and find a compromise how to handle COVID together as a family. That's what I would have done if I had the power.
Would it kill her to actually admit that Kody has favored her? Would it kill her? She might be in a relationship with a man that is a horrible human being and a raging narcissist, but she constantly invalidates the feelings of the kids to the extent that she gaslights them into believing that their experience isn't what's happened.
The older kids are like this club. It's like you're either in with them or you're out with them. It's a clique.
How do you change the mind of 12 children to believe that their life growing up wasn't the way it was? Because everyone I've talked to that's been a polygamist, and I've talked to a lot of polygamists, former polygamists, they all say there's always a favorite wife, and the favorite wife always denies that her relationship causes anyone else to suffer.
So Gabriel and Garrison are complaining to Hunter and Madison. Hunter and Madison are colluding. They're basically gossiping about me.
It seems to be that the line is becoming more and more intense. Choose this side, which is Kody, marry Robyn and Robyn's kid, or choose the side that includes all of my children.
So Kody thinks that Garrison and Gabriel have turned everybody against him because of COVID. Maddie has not been close to her dad for years. Hunter lives in another state. Logan barely is ever around. When do you ever see Logan with his dad? Never. I think the kids already had feelings about their dad, and that's why they moved away and they don't deal with them. But it's clear that they love their moms, and they look at their moms as Christine and Janelle. And so for them, it's easy for them to go with their moms who love them, raise them, and will have their backs no matter what, when they don't trust that their dad will do the same. I don't think it has anything to do with COVID. I just think for COVID, like, the distance created a space for people to actually have time to evaluate their lives. And I think this happened in a lot of families where people were able to see if things were working or not working. A lot of people got divorced during COVID, and I think honestly it was because people had time to think. If something was broken, they had time to think about it being broken, and they were able to set boundaries. COVID just enhanced problems that already existed. It didn't cause the problems, but it did create a huge division in this family. And Robyn is going to accuse the kids of ganging up on her and ganging up on her kids and bullying her kids. Robyn's kids are always the victim, and so is she. It gets very exhausting.
My kids aren't part of that group. I don't know. It's a ganging up, defense mechanism. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
This argument that Kody's having with many of his kids about his COVID precautions, Mariah is not involved in that.
This whole COVID thing is just boiling out our relationships.
It's boiling it out to find out really who we are with each other.
I wish all the kids could see how heartbroken Kody is about the whole thing. He just looks to be drowning to me.
Even Christine has empathy for Kody. Robyn calls it ganging up, and they're not a part of it. Mary says that Mariah, who now goes by Leon, is not a part of this whole group that's against Kody about COVID. And Kody actually acknowledges that it's sussed out the family for who they are. The kids already had these feelings. COVID just amplified it. And it proved to them who their dad was. Kody might have been trying to keep his family safe, but he was so severe and paranoid about it, or he was using it as an excuse not to see his family. But the way that he set the stage, no one could meet his expectations. The only way Robyn was able to meet expectations was literally by never leaving the house. And the other families can't do that. They have older kids. Robyn's oldest kids never leave. And why is Kody never yelling about Robyn's kids, who are all over the age of 18, Aurora and Dalton? Why isn't he yelling about them moving out? It's just so weird to me. So after that's all said and done, we find out the family's totally divided. Isabel and Christine tell Kody about how she's moving to North Carolina.
I applied for a pit in North Carolina and I got in.
A pit?
Yeah, Pitt Community College.
You got into college in North Carolina. I hate being excited about you leaving. That sucks.
Yes.
But I can feel your excitement.
And he's sad but excited for her. And she explains the whole process of them moving. And Kody will not commit to whether or not he will help her move.
Okay, are you running away from our situation?
We need to move her in August. Yeah, we're moving her. We got to drive across country. Mm-hmm. If you want to drive out there with us, you're of course more than welcome. If you want to fly there and help move her in, you're of course more than welcome.
We have no idea what the pandemic will be like in August. I'm unwilling to make any commitments. We're talking wishful thoughts here.
Christine is doing her best to just allow them to have the space to have the conversation. She also shares that Gwendolyn plans to stay in Flagstaff and get her own apartment, and that Kody had all these years, all this time to get to know his kids, and yet he still didn't take that time. And so Isabel and Gwendolyn desperately wanted to have a relationship with their father, but he didn't make any effort. And now they're moving and they're going on and they're moving on.
I talked to Gwendolyn. I told Gwendolyn, look, things are bad between Dad and I'm leaving Dad. And I want to move to Utah in September. You want to move with me and go to Utah with me? And she said, no, I'm going to stay here in Flagstaff. You go. Isabel wishes she had a better relationship with her dad. Gwendolyn wishes she had a better relationship with her dad. But overall, I think it's Kody's responsibility to have a good relationship with his kids.
And Kody blames Christine because their relationship was making it so that he couldn't have a relationship with them, or somehow their fighting has caused them to run away from him. No.
That she's leaving under these circumstances, that whatever has happened with me and Christine has left her and I this crap relationship where I'm just trying to reach to her.
A real father puts aside his feelings for the mother, and he's there for his kids regardless of how he feels about his kids. A real father doesn't force a woman to stay in a marriage where he doesn't love them and allows the woman to go free. They just saw, all of them, the boys, the girls, the oldest kids, they all saw how Janelle and Christine were treated. They have empathy and they care about their their moms.
It's been hard for me that Kody hasn't been around, but it's been absolutely devastating for my daughters. They're moving away from home, and he's missed this great opportunity to get to know them better.
And now because of this COVID situation, they're trying to make me the villain because of COVID.
because of protocols, because I want to protect my children.
It's not about COVID, Kody. It's about how you treated them and mistreated their moms. And that's the facts. And next week, he's even going to prove again what a deadbeat dad he is with their kids. So for me, the division in the family proves nothing more than Kody is and does have a favorite wife, and Robyn refuses to acknowledge it, validate it, and just says that everyone's ganging up on her and the kids. The family is what it is, and Kody should let them go, and everyone should just move on with their lives, because the way it is right now is making no one happy. And you've literally got 12 kids that want nothing to do with their father. That isn't a single person problem. That's a you're not the best dad, you weren't there for them dad. You put yourself and your needs and your relationship with another wife and her kids before them. That's on you, bud. That's on you. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.